was driving to work this morning, I was listening to another radio station, as we broadcasters sometimes do. What I heard shocked and saddened me.
The Entertainment Roundtable.
They're here, nerds.
Wait, is this the group that goes around mutilating squirrels?
You just mind your P's and Q's, Buster, and remember who you're dealing with.
Well, at least we found them. Fortuitous, Captain. And now that we have them all together,
you can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs.
The Entertainment Roundtable.
They make one person go, blah, 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 and the other person go, what are you talking about? And then one person goes, blah, 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 blah.
Welcome in, and welcome to the weekend here. Superstation 101 WIDE as we get into the weekend with the Entertainment Roundtable, and we are packed with information and with people, as it turns out. And we'll go around the table here and introduce everyone that is here. David, you missed last week. Glad to have you back.
I did, but I'm super excited this week.
Yeah?
Tomorrow, I am shutting off my phone. I don't care what prior commitments I have.
Okay.
Doctor Who is happening.
Uh-oh. And this
New
is the
episode.
debut of the new one, right?
Yeah. Peter
gotcha.
Capaldi.
All right, so we got
super excited.
David locked up in his house watching Doctor Who. Jeff, how are you, sir?
I'm good, Steve. I will not be watching Doctor Who because I don't care.
Okay, gotcha. Any
You're
big plans
fool.
this weekend?
Yeah, I think we're going to play some turnip greens.
Well, that just sounds exciting. I
Watch
was thinking
The
more like,
Strain.
maybe see, there we go.
That
Now we're
new
getting-
BBC America series.
Ooh,
the
that's
one
good.
about the people living through.
We're going to talk about that a
Yeah,
little bit later on.
they have a show about people living.
Through other passing their spirits to new bodies and stuff.
We're going to talk about that show coming up a little bit later on in the show.
Things.
On the phone, Jacob, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, everything going well this weekend? Any big plans?
I will probably be locked into my apartment watching Doctor Who as well.
Hey,
Yeah, you
well,
will.
we got two there. And Ryan from Maryland, everything good?
Yes, sir, it is. I just booked the hotel and the plane ticket, ready to go to Sin City, man. Can't wait to see it.
Ah, yeah, that may be on the schedule at some point in time this weekend.
Book a plane ticket to go see Sin City?
Well, you know what I mean.
And that would bring in the guy who has been here
I mean,
probably the least consistently of everyone.
Now I feel like the Guardians of the Galaxy guy.
Yeah, hi, Josh.
Nothing
How are
goes
you?
over my head. I'm too fast.
I'm going to catch it.
Or too tall.
Too tall.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, you've been busy.
We've been a little busy.
You employed me for a little bit of it.
Yeah, you know, it's been fun.
All right,
we're kinda
talk to me
getting
about
the
it. Limited release coming out.
Limited release of
this
Coffee
week?
Shop. We a movie we shot here probably a better part of 6-7 months ago.
Easily, it was pretty
maybe
dang
even a
cold.
year.
It was right around Snowpocalypse.
That's right.
So
We were shooting during Snowpocalypse. So, yeah, we're releasing locally the film Coffee Shop that was shot here, starring Laura Vandervoort, John Lovitz, Kevin Sorbo, Rachel Hendricks from October Baby. It's a locally made movie with the Irwin brothers and a couple other people.
Hercules?
Yeah, from Hercules. Yeah, he was.
Hercules is in your movie?
I heard he was a little bit mad that he wasn't included in the new one, but that's
I
really
didn't know
confidential.
Hercules
so
was in
there
it.
you go. It's on the air.
Hercules. Is
I believe I'm probably somewhere on the cutting room floor of that movie.
Really?
See, I was kind of wondering whether I was on the cutting room
Yeah.
floor. He says he's seen a rough cut. I actually, about this part of my head right here
No,
on the
you're
side.
Steve's head makes it in, and I make it in for a split second, but I look fat. So yeah, it
Well,
comes
the
out.
camera
this,
adds 10 pounds.
Comes out this weekend. It will be at the Carmack Patton Creek 15, Summit 16, for 1 week only. Just a little thank you release. So check it out this week. You're only gonna get one chance, and it showcases Alabama, Old Town Helena, shooting Fairhope, totally shot in Alabama. So you'll definitely see places you recognize and maybe even people you recognize.
There you go.
Like Hercules.
That's my plug,
Hercules.
and now I'm gonna leave.
I'll recognize Hercules.
Yeah, he's in it. He has a big role in it. He
And John Lovitz has a pretty big role in it.
Yeah,
from
John
what I can
Lovitz
tell.
has a big role in it. Kevin Sorbo was awesome. He's a very, very nice guy. The
strong.
mayor came out of Helena and met John Lovitz. It was the funniest thing in the world. But there was the whole town of Helena was just a buzz. So
They would be because Hercules is in there.
Hercules. All right. Speaking of Hercules, Hercules is in the top 10. Barely.
It's Hercules and the Devil.
Yeah.
because Kevin Sorbo was
Hercules is in at number 10. $68.2 million for this film. It seems like a fairly quick drop out of the top 10 here for this film. I mean, as much hype as this thing got, are we just tired of Hercules? What's the deal?
I'm not tired. I just don't care.
It just looked like the same crap we saw with what's that movie with the town that explodes? I should know this. Pompeii. It just
Pompeii,
looked
yeah.
very Pompeii starring The Rock.
Yeah, and you saw this, Ryan, right?
No, I didn't.
No, okay. See, I think that says a lot because you see just about everything that The Rock is in, Ryan. So that you didn't see it, I think, says a lot.
Well, it's on my, Redbox list.
Yeah, and that's from everything that I've heard, that's about the best you're going to probably get out of it.
Didn't, we just have another Hercules movie 6 months ago?
Yeah, there was one late last year, I think.
That had nothing to do with the...
Yeah, it's like Hercules, the beginning, Rising Hercules.
Yeah.
Something like that. So.
Yeah, with Kellen Lutz, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
In at number 9, Step Up All In. Wow, this thing has made a grand total of $11.8 million. And I'm surprised it made that much. Number 8, Lucy is up to $107.7 million for your last-minute selection there. Luckiest man of all time, Jeff, when it comes to the Summer Movie League draft.
Is it Lux?
It was rigged.
Yeah.
That was smart thinking is what I call that.
How about that? Knowing the audience.
Yeah, Lucy, I have to admit, I kind of thought would do exactly what it did, but I'm sorry. The Fault in Our Stars, who the heck would have figured that? You picked it because you liked the name. You didn't know what the movie was about.
I sure did.
Up to number 7, The 100-Foot Journey, $7.2 million, 23.7 for kind of an art house kind of film, but I've heard good reviews on it anyway. Critically, it's a darling. Up to number 6, Twister Part 2, otherwise known as Into the Storm, $31.5 million overall. So The Giver, as we get into the top 5 debuts, to $12.3 million.
Not good.
Not a big taker, huh?
Not really, no.
Not for what it could have been.
I have heard... And if you have heard any differently, please speak up. But I have not heard very many good things about this movie critically.
I haven't heard anything.
Saw this movie.
You actually saw it?
Oh, I did see The Giver, yeah.
Okay, well, critically, give us a review.
For The Giver, I don't know what everyone's complaining about. I thought it was pretty good. For the most part, it was well-paced. Few subplots could have been, tweaked here and there. I thought the ending could have been somewhat better and a little bit more... It was revealing, but I just thought it could have had a little bit more, what is it called? Just more power to it. But anyway, I still enjoyed it. I mean, I liked The Giver. I didn't hate it.
Mm-hmm.
I may not have loved it, but I still give it a generous, 7.5 out of 10.
Interesting.
I think we're looking at a marketing fail here more than anything.
Steve, I've now heard one good thing about The Giver.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, I've heard good things about it. I heard a lot of good things about it. Yeah, no, a lot of my friends.
Okay.
One of my friends was on the marketing. I don't know.
Well,
what that says,
I think the biggest problem with this is the fact. I think you may be right and onto something, because when we saw some of the initial previews of it, the black and white, and people don't really understand why it was there. That's number one. Number two, we're talking about a book that's 21 years old, but the movie just now being made in a time where we have seen so many views of a dystopian future. Are we getting burned out on the dystopian future?
Not sure if we're getting burned out. I just think that there was this kind of people that were fans of the book that could have opened this did not like it, did not like what they saw, were very disappointed by everything.
From what I understand, this did change some of the plot from the book.
And then I think that kind of leaked on to the people that don't care about the book.
Right.
That would maybe have been intrigued if other people were behind it. They were just kind of like, I heard the book people don't like it, so they probably is going to be crap. And then just the commercials were very miscombobulated. I heard fans say that the fans of the book say they were mad that it showed any color because the first one was all color, and then it was confusing. The second trailer's in black and white, and we're like, what is going on here?
Right.
I don't know. It just seemed mixed messages, weird casting. Jeff Bridges is obviously a good casting, but I even heard from people in the book that love the book saying he was cleaned up. He should have been rougher looking and stuff for the movie. I don't know. Just seemed like there was not a lot of hype behind the film. And
you had two of the big stars here, Jeff Bridges, you mentioned, Meryl Streep being the other one. It was one of those two, and I want to say it was Jeff Bridges that was trying to champion the making of this movie ever since he read the book, probably shortly after it came out.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, it kind of comes across as a bit of a fail. If he's the champion of getting the book made into a movie, why wouldn't you then try and make the movie more like the book? But
yeah, when you have things like The Hunger Games that pretty meticulously at least try to capture the spirit of the books for the fans, this Hollywood reimagining crap is not going to keep standing up.
Yeah, I gotcha. Up to number 4, a movie that a couple of us, well, one of us, me, saw last week, The Expendables 3. $15.9 million on its debut. This is the third installment, and it is the second time in a row that we have seen the debut weekend go down. The initial one debuted to $35 million, the second one to about $24 million, now this one to $15.9. So I think maybe we might actually be able to say that the previews were right when they say this is the last ride. And it deserves to be. It wasn't a great film. It was pretty rote, pretty straightforward, what you expect out of The Expendables, which is not great filmmaking, just a whole bunch of explosions and a bunch of one-liners.
Yeah, I haven't seen the second one yet, but I expect that they're all great for terrible movies.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, this is a Class A, Class B film.
Yeah.
So up to number 3, you got Let's Be Cops, 17.8 million, 26.2 overall. That one was debuted last Wednesday, giving it that extra spark there. Anybody seen this yet? Anybody?
No.
Okay, didn't think so.
Yeah, it was supposed to be my last pick, right? That's my.
Yeah, that is your last pick. We'll see where it goes for you. Up to number 2, Guardians of the Galaxy, up to $222.7 million, making one Jacob Rasberry a very happy guy.
That it does.
And up to number 1, top of the heap, $28.5 million. So barely, but for the second week in a row, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles beats out Guardians. So 117.8 for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That's disappointing.
Yeah?
Guardians was so much better.
It was a much better film, I mean,
come on.
Has it not made enough money yet, though?
Come on, people.
I don't know. We'll see.
Stop watching Turtles.
Coming out this weekend, actually 3 films that come out in wide release. You've got If I Stay. This is Chloe Grace Moretz, girl who has a car accident, ends up in a coma, has some sort of out-of-body experience, leads her to trying to decide what to do with the rest of her life. A film called When the Game Stands Tall, Jim Caviezel, Michael Chiklis, Laura Dern, based upon the true-life story of the De La Salle High School football program, riding along on a 151-game winning streak, but ending up, of course, dealing with real-life problems and facing not wanting to lose a game or being the team that does. This one has a bit of a faith undertone to it, from what I'm told.
Yeah.
What, if
anything,
anything,
it's
do
produced
you
by
know
the
about
same
it?
studio as Mom's Night Out.
Yeah.
Sony Affirm. I know a lot of the executives behind it and stuff. And yeah, it's Jim Caviezel playing one of the main characters in it, and obviously he's Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. Who we know so well as playing Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I heard it was it's a good movie. I haven't seen it. I'm going to go see it tonight, and I'm excited to see it.
Yep.
It needs more good faith titles, and I mean we're working on a football faith title, so we're kind of excited to see what's out there.
Go ahead, Ryan.
I was going to say, I'm going to see this that weekend, too.
Yeah, at some point in time, I will see this if it's not tonight at some point in time. And then another film that I do want to try and see, and maybe this weekend, Sin City, A Dame to Kill For. Mickey Rourke, Bruce Willis, Jessica Alba, Josh Brolin, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and well, it's just too long to list. A sequel to where some of the upright citizens of Sin City have to deal with a lower-regarded populace. Well, it's just the continuing story thereof, but it looks fun.
Yeah, I mean, the Sin City movies look pretty.
Oh, yeah.
That's really all of
Very
them.
artfully done.
Yeah.
So.
Don't everyone be excited at once.
No,
Yeah, really.
I'm excited about it. I'm
Come
going to go see
on,
it.
guys. It's Sin City.
I know. I'm
I look forward to hearing, narration about breathing.
The night was hot.
I exhale.
It was sultry.
I inhale. I exhale.
As I drove away, I was thinking to myself aloud. Man, I was excited for this, but
Yeah?
I've been deflated over the past few days. Where
What you been hearing?
a lot of the critics that I tend to jive with as far as our tastes and what we like, and even the ones who liked the original Sin City a lot,
Yeah?
they've just been eviscerating this one. Just saying
Wow.
it's not good.
Cares, dude. You got Eva Green in there, man.
She's been in bad films before.
Yeah, she has. Well, I don't know. At some point in time, probably I'm going to go see this.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, I'll see it
I
next
suffered through the Expendables Part 3. Could it be that much worse? Could it be Pompeii worse compared to Expendables 3?
I believe,
I'm going to
yes.
see it tomorrow, Jack.
I hope they don't do what the sequel to 300 did, and that's what I'm thinking is happening.
Turn to total crap?
Yeah.
What are you
take something
talking
that was
about?
great and turn it to crap.
You
You
can't-
like the sequel to
I think I like it better than the first one.
That's
actually.
ridiculous.
In terms of Sin City, you cannot
I could
turn
hog
to
that
crap
glass.
when you already were crap.
No, wait, no. Sin City, the first one is good. I
No,
like that
it's really
movie.
not. I remembered it good too, and I tried to watch it a few days ago, and I was just like, nope, not happening.
It's a different but amazing.
All right, we got to move on because we got plenty to get to here. Out in limited release, if you're so interested. Of course, we talked about 2 theaters showing Coffee Shop, but out there also, Love is Strange, starring John Lithgow, Alfred Molina. Something called the one I Love. Then there's To Be Takai, which actually could be kind of fun. Documentary about the man who brought Sulu to life, George Takai. It also features him, Walter Koenig, William Shatner, and many, many others who know him. Are You Here, which stars Owen Wilson, Zach Galifianakis, and Amy Poehler. This was a film that was actually made last year, and they just stuck it up on a shelf for a little while, and that generally to me doesn't mean good things for the movie.
It might just mean that they just didn't have anywhere to put it, given the market. But
That's possible. Coming out in theaters next week. Stop me if this is something that you really want to see. And I did see where, Ryan, you were planning on going to check out the film As Above, So Below.
I believe I am going to do that, yeah.
Okay. Pierce Brosnan in November Man and something called The Congress. So that's what's coming out next week. I don't know. We're in that kind of a slow cycle here. November Man has some slight interest to me.
Yeah, that one looks pretty good.
The Congress I read a little bit about, and I'm I don't know. Maybe not. We'll have to see. Ryan, when we come to you, we just mentioned November Man. We got news about it already. Stick around. That's next.
We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming, the Entertainment Roundtable on Superstation 101.
Well, we come back to the song from Alice Cooper's School's Out, which, as we generally do, will find something that's either in theaters or is going to be out this weekend and select something off the soundtrack. Anyone want to take a guess as to what soundtrack School's Out is on?
When the Game Stands Tall.
No.
Sin City.
No. It's off of If I Stay, actually.
Okay,
that kind of threw me for a loop. I'm like, really? That one little art house flick about etherealness and having an out-of-body experience, all of a sudden, here's School's Out.
Actually, that sounds about right.
Yeah? You might be right. Ryan, let's go to you. And just mention next week, got the film Pierce Brosnan, November Man. Correct me if I'm wrong. They're working up a sequel already?
Yes, according to Relatively Studios, they are going to soon enter pre-production on the sequel to The November Man ahead of its release of August the 27th. So expected to come within the next year or so, starring Pierce Brosnan as Peter Devereaux.
So they like the film so much they've got enough faith in it that it's going to do well enough to warrant the sequel.
I guess so, but the question is, why don't they release this film in November?
They're hoping it's going to stick around through November is what it's going to turn out to be. One of this week's new releases, which didn't perform all that well, talking about The Expendables. Jacob, a long-rumored female version of the film apparently is being planned more. It's titled The Expendables. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about them wanting Ripley from the Alien series. Been some more news on that front?
Yeah, so apparently they have wanted Sigourney Weaver. Stallone really wanted Sigourney Weaver to play in a movie called Expendables, but apparently she has declined that role and she's taken a different one instead. Not sure if that's a scheduling thing. The most interesting thing about this story, I think, though, is they've revealed the plot. And I'm going to read this because it's fantastic.
I can't wait for this.
When America's Navy SEALs are wiped out trying to penetrate the island lair of a deadly despot who has captured one of the world's top nuclear scientists, it becomes clear that there is no such thing as the right man for the job, and that this is a mission so impossible that only women can handle it. The only way in, some of the world's deadliest female operatives must pose as high-class call girls shipped in by private plane to satisfy a dictator, and instead save the scientist and the day.
My IQ just dropped.
I think we now know why Sigourney Weaver's passed.
Yeah, exactly.
She saw the script and said, I'm out.
That film is never going to happen.
Unfortunately, I hate to say it, I think the film does happen. And that's the sad part about it.
It will happen.
She was supposed to play, apparently was going to play Stallone's wife, who was in the midst of a messy divorce, takes half of the Expendables crew.
Nope, never going to happen.
Misogyny, impossible.
Jacob, sticking with you and hopefully something better. Marvel talk. The assertion that they're going to stop with the origin stories here very soon. How soon are they talking about stopping origin stories?
Well, it looks like as soon as Doctor Strange. They say that they are not going to do an origin story for that character. They're going to just begin it in the middle of his career as the Sorcerer Supreme.
Okay, so we have Guardians of the Galaxy. Obviously, it's doing quite well, $227 million. We didn't really get an origin story out of them. We were just kind of introduced to the characters, and suddenly they're put together. Obviously, it didn't seem to hurt them. Will this hurt them in the long run with some of the characters that are lesser known in the Marvel universe?
I mean, I don't think so. I mean, and really, when I say Guardians of the Galaxy, kind of is an origin story because it's the origin of the team. Although the characters are not, we don't get a history into the characters, but this is the first time they will have actually just, taken a character in the middle of the run or what with you. But I think they can do it. I mean, I think it's something that Marvel does well anyways. Okay. Marvel's going to make a good movie. So.
David?
I think all they really have to do is have the character in the midst of what they do and bring in, an audience character, sort of like Rogue was with X-Men. A couple of lines here. We're done. Let's move on to the next thing. I don't think it'll be a big problem. And it's Marvel, so at this point, I'm like, just give me Mo.
Gotcha,
I don't
Jeff?
care what you do.
I think it's about time. Instead of the conceit where the first movie is always the hero's origin.
Right.
I like the idea of here's this guy doing this awesome stuff.
Put him into a situation and let's go.
There you go.
Yeah, Ryan, you agree?
Maybe down the line, have a prequel.
Yeah, maybe you could if you want to. Ryan, you agree?
I'm actually neutral. I really don't care if they give us origin stories or not. But to me, for someone who's never run a comic book a day in his flippin' life,
well, there you go.
Story to help us people who are normal moviegoers who don't read comic books. So it really depends on the character they're aiming for and the kind of movie they're trying to make. And then I would say, okay, give us an origin story for that particular character, or you don't have to worry about it.
I would have thought you were a comic book guy, Ryan. I'm actually surprised.
Well, I'm a huge fan of certain heroes and villains and all that, but that doesn't mean I read the comic books. I watch the movies, man. You know why? Because that's my business.
There you go.
Bam.
Jacob, let's stick with Marvel here. A lot of details. Well, I say details that are coming out about next year's Avengers: Age of Ultron film. How much of this can we actually trust?
Well, I mean, I think so. We know now that Stellan Skarsgård is going to be play a role in the next Avengers movie.
Okay. So from what we're familiar with in Thor, he's going to reprise.
Right. He will reprise the role of Dr. Eric Selvig, who appeared originally in the Thor movie, was in the first Avengers film. So I don't know how important he will be, but he has been a major character for both of those films.
Right.
So it wouldn't shock me if he's more than just a cameo.
Well, and the only reason I ask that is because, and it's not trying to, belittle the character that he plays. It's just that when you get to these big films, they're always trying to throw people off when it comes to the information they release so that you're at least somewhat surprised when you actually watch the film. So I was just kind of wondering about the veracity of the report.
My guess is he'll be there to basically be the Phil Coulson. He's the guy that we kind of know that he can die. He should die.
Well, that said, we're probably going to get Phil Coulson anyway.
And hopefully we'll die with his pants off, like as he ran around Thor 2 with his
oh gosh, that was
Phil Coulson was a plot point. I mean,
true.
And his death in Avengers was a plot point, and that's what this dude's death should be, because I think they should kill him because we need to focus on the heroes.
Yeah, man, that character, when he had a nervous breakdown in Thor 2, made me hate him more and more.
I didn't. I liked him just the same, but still, I mean...
Which was to say you didn't really care one way or the other?
It's like their scientific MacGyver.
He was delightful in what he did.
Yeah.
He had a purpose, but his purpose is fulfilled now.
Yeah, kill him off.
Sticking with Marvel, at least a couple more stories here. Let's stay with you, Jacob, and talk about Ant-Man. Seen some pictures, Paul Rudd in character, and the cast is continuing to grow as well. What do you got?
Yeah, the cast has just,
exploded.
Increased.
Yeah. I would have thought the cast would have shrunk.
Well, I was trying to go for a pun and I couldn't figure one out. So.
And David gave it for you.
That's what I'm here for, sweetie.
So, but John Slattery, who played Tony Stark's father, Howard Stark, in Iron Man 2, is in as well as Judy Greer, Bobby Cannavale, Michael Pena, Abby Ryder-Fortson, some other people that I've never heard of, and T.I.
Who?
T.I.
The rapper?
Yes.
Oh gosh. Okay.
And
been cast.
Marvel will fall.
Are we making this too big for a character that's not really all that well known?
I don't know about too big. I am nervous about this. This, to me, probably has the potential to be the worst of the Marvel films so far.
I'm not going to argue that point, but I am looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to what they do, but.
All right. And one more note here in this Voice of Rocket Raccoon in Guardians in theaters now, in case you hadn't heard, Bradley Cooper looking at his next role, this time actually getting on screen in the form of a character that's been in print for a long time, just now getting some movie treatment. Was it, Jacob, was it you that I was going to on this?
Me.
Yeah, okay.
Me. Yeah, apparently Bradley Cooper is working on, or maybe in talks of playing Mac Bolan, a character based on a series of books by Don Pendleton. So that's kind of in the works. The interesting about this is that this has been a movie has been in the works since like 1969 when the book came out. And so it's had people like Steve McQueen, Sylvester Stallone, Clint Eastwood, and Vin Diesel all attached.
So this is definitely an action film then?
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, whether or not they actually get this off the ground is going to be, definitely an action film. But like whether they get this off the ground is going to be interesting because they've tried so many times and haven't been able to get it done. So.
Gotcha. Ryan, to you and DC Comics word out Dwayne Johnson, The Rock's set to portray a character in their universe, but apparently he's trying to choose from a couple of different ones?
Right. He's rumored to either take on the role of Shazam or Black Adam, but WB, DC have not confirmed or denied anything yet.
Does that say more about WB and DC in this case, or more about The Rock and the fact that they're going to let him choose between the two?
I'm not sure. They're trying to narrow it down and have him take on either. I don't care what role he plays. As long as he's in the DC universe, he's going to make it 10 times more electrifying than it already is with Henry Cavill.
Well, personally, I hope he picks Black Adam just because looks-wise, I feel like he could play the part better.
But personality-wise, he's much more Captain Marvel.
You're right. I don't disagree with that, but I think he could play. I mean, he hasn't done it yet, but I think he could play someone.
What I would do is I would have him play both.
Oh, that would be
because if he was Teth Adam became the Captain Marvel character, and at some point, and then Billy Batson, he could make it where he looks the same.
No, I mean,
it would be a big stretch.
You could do both.
I think you should just get Patrick Warburton to bulk up and play Shazam. Looks just like him. Come on.
Well, yeah, now that you mention it, yeah, I've seen pictures. Got something there. Casting news on the soon-to-be-filmed biopic Straight Outta Compton, the story of the rap group NWA. They've added a cast member as well on this one. This one playing the group's manager, Jacob, who they tapped.
Yeah, they've gotten Paul Giamatti to play Jerry Heller, who was the manager for NWA. But also, was kind of interesting because he worked with bands like Journey, ELO, and REO Speedwagon, so he didn't exactly come from a background to kind of vibe with NWA, and so kind of see how that goes. Maybe there's a little bit of drama there where he doesn't quite fit in, but has to manage these guys.
Gotcha.
And the last time we talked about this movie, we joked around about how come Ice Cube couldn't play Ice Cube.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's being played. The character Ice Cube is being played by O'Shea Jackson Jr., who's apparently Ice Cube's son. So they're not really going too far. They're literally almost getting a young Ice Cube.
Yeah, but it's not like Ice Cube is that old. He can still play himself.
Yeah, he's too old to play young Ice Cube.
I don't know about that. Makeup does wonders.
Well, maybe.
I just wonder when they're going to finally remake New York Undercover.
Does this mean we'll never
Dick
see
Wolf,
Paul
come on.
Giamatti in another Spider-Man film again? Because that would be really great.
Maybe. Not going to guarantee anything on that. Jeff, casting news from you, quite familiar when it comes to movies like The Hunger Games. The person is now linked to a Quentin Tarantino film that we've been talking about now for quite a while, on again, off again, on again, off again, The Hateful Eight.
Right. Well, the latest rumor is that Jennifer Lawrence is in talks to play a character in The Hateful Eight.
I hope not.
A report from Collider says that she's in talks for it, but apparently her publicist passed to the Wrap. She's not doing the project. But despite the fact that there's already a teaser trailer for the film, we don't actually know any of the cast yet.
Gotcha.
Bruce Dern, Kurt Russell, Michael Madsen, James Remar, Walton Goggins, and Samuel Jackson are all rumored because they took part in a live read of the script in L.A., but none are confirmed at this point.
And also
what
because
a
all of
shock.
them are in every Tarantino movie.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and the other side of it is the fact that what a shock. A Tarantino film and Samuel L. Jackson is being considered.
Right. Apparently, she would be up for, I forget the name of the lone female character, I believe, in this cast. So I'm sure they would want to get someone of her caliber in there.
I got you.
Why not?
We knew there was going to be a sequel to the movie Olympus Has Fallen. We talked about it several months ago, actually, here on the show. Gerard Butler, Aaron Eckhart. By the way, make sure you don't confuse this with the much inferior Channing Tatum, Jamie Foxx film White House Down. Ryan, starting to get some details about the sequel to Olympus Has Fallen. What are you finding out here?
Yes, sir. For the sequel, London Has Fallen, the original director of the first film, Antoine Fuqua, is in fact not going to be returning to the follow-up. They were aiming to begin production back in May, but they're going to have to push it back a few more months, probably to October. And in that case, Frederick Bond, who directed the film Charlie Countryman, is in negotiations to take on the directorial role.
All right. Jacob, sequels here as we have more of them. Tom Cruise is back for a fifth installment of the Mission Impossible series. Anyone else from the previous films back in on as well?
Yeah, the only other actor who has played in the 4 other Mission Impossible movies, Ving Rhames, is going to be back for Mission Impossible 5.
Yeah, but he only had a bit part in the 4th one. Is he going to have a more intensive part in this one?
We don't know. I mean, so who knows? It could be that he's
just going to show up.
But he should be there in some role.
This time it should just be a poster of him or something.
It's just a cardboard cutout.
Yeah, really.
A picture on Tom Cruise's shelf of them, like, hey,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, I remember him. Maybe I'll have to get him back later on.
My love. Bing.
David, you've seen some news regarding the progress of the 3rd installment of the reimagined Star Trek series. We know that J.J. Abrams obviously is out.
Yep.
We've talked about new writers, directors, blah, blah, blah. What do you know?
Bob Orci has confirmed that they have finished the first draft of the movie. It is set to start production in the spring. So that's happening.
All right. Oh, let's go. Let's get 2 more sequels in here. One to the comedy hit Ted. I just watched that last night. It was funny. It wasn't dropped down on the floor laughing funny. It was okay. For the sequel, they got some casting news, Jacob?
Yeah, speaking of Patrick Warburton, he signed on to reprise his role as Guy, the co-worker of Mark Wahlberg, in the sequel.
Right.
Seth MacFarlane always has him
Yeah,
and stuff. That's
somewhere,
like
I hope Ryan Reynolds shows up, too.
That was the best cameo.
I will admit that the cameos that were in the film were actually kind of surprising as you went through, because obviously having not watched the film and I hadn't really heard a whole lot about it, Ryan Reynolds shows up and like, wow, really?
Because it's Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah.
He knows them all. He's like...
Yeah, and then you get Sam Jones, and not to give anything away, but Flash Gordon, I mean, actually plays quite the central part of about the second half of the film, so it's...
Well, and let's not forget, I mean, Ryan Reynolds showed up in A Good Day to Die in the West.
Million Ways to Die in the West.
A Million Ways to Die in the West, yeah. I wish that had been a better film, too.
Get it right.
Ryan, one more sequel note here. This one deals with the Resident Evil franchise. Apparently, they're putting it on hold, and why would that be?
Darn.
Because they're terrible?
Well, there's that.
Cut me some slack, Jack. All right, Resident Evil 6, the final chapter, has been put on hold due to the fact that the star of the franchise, Mila Jovovich, Alice herself, is pregnant with her second child. So they're going to put things off for about another year or so before they start filming for the last installment.
You just write pregnancy in.
Yeah, like she's pregnant with like a zombie baby or something.
Yeah.
They had like nice little twist.
Isn't she like the 4th clone of the original character now or something? Like she's not even the real person.
She gives birth to her own clone.
Right. She's just that would be amazing. We could.
It's so bizarre. I still watch them though, just because they're Resident Evil.
She's a butt-kicking incubator.
There you go. All right. There are 2 live-action treatments apparently being readied about the Jungle Book. Both continue to add names to the cast of characters, the voices, and all that. Jacob, which version are we talking about when we talk about more big names being added, or are we talking about both of them here?
We're just talking about one. Last week we had our Disney, who's doing that, Jon Favreau version. This is the Warner Brothers Andy Serkis directed version. They have announced that Benedict Cumberbatch will play the part of Shere Khan. Kate Blanchett will voice Ka. Let's see, and Christian Bale. Christian Bale will voice Bagheera, the panther, and then Andy Serkis will play Baloo the bear.
Are we at the point where these 2 are going to hit like within the same month or something like that?
I'm not. Let's see.
Because I'm not really sure when they're supposed to be hitting.
I believe they're going to be released within a year of each other.
Why are they doing that?
Because they're stupid and they have no original ideas.
That is really odd.
It's definitely a Olympus Has Fallen White House
down deal.
Well, I will say I'm excited about Shere Khan being played by what's his
Cumberbatch?
Yeah, Cumberbatch.
Oh, he is Khan.
I was hoping they would pretend he was another character.
Oh, wait.
Until the movie came out.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting because on one hand, on Disney's side, you've got Idris Elba playing Shere Khan,
which is
and
awesome.
on the Warner Brothers side, you've got Benedict Cumberbatch.
That's
it's
great.
going to be 2 awesome performances at least. So
you know what? They should do this with everything. Just give every studio the right to make every property. We could have like 5 Batman movies.
That would be
year.
pretty fun, actually, and we could all just vote on which is the better.
Yeah.
Well, I will say I like the cast of the Disney version better, the overall cast. I mean, you've got in the Disney cast. I mean, you've got Bill Murray, Idris Elba, just to name there's a couple more that are just big name people that I think are a little better than.
Actually, funny you should mention Bill Murray. We're going to talk about him, but we got to take a break, and when we come back, we'll pick it back up. Bill Murray not just doing Jungle Book, he's got himself another movie coming out, and it's got the same title as a song from The Clash back in the 1980s.
They do all their own stunts. The Entertainment Roundtable on Superstation 101.
Hey, welcome back in, listening to the theme song to the TV show Castle, and we actually do have some news from that TV show coming up here in just a little bit. Still got to finish up some movie news here. Jacob and promised information about Bill Murray, who is set to come out with a new movie here fairly soon. He's working on it. The name is the same, although the spelling's not the same as that song from the 1980s by the group The Clash. What are we talking about here?
Bill Murray's movie Rock the Casbah has got a April 24th, 2015 release date, which comes out the week after Avengers 2. But it's got a kind of an interesting premise. Bill Murray is a washed-up rock manager who goes on a tour, a USO tour, with one of his final client of Afghanistan, where he finds himself broke and without a passport. While he's there, he finds a young girl who is a very good singer and tries to make her a star through Afghanistan's version of American Idol. And with a cast like Bruce Willis, Kate Hudson, Zooey Deschanel, and Danny McBride, seems like this could be interesting.
It could be. Couple of notes on the actor Simon Pegg. Apparently, first up, set to work with director Edgar Wright again. And on what, Jacob?
We don't know the exact what it's going to be, the next movie, but they are planning to make another movie together. I mean,
Actually, that's been updated. It's a set of films now.
A set of films. Nick Frost, is he involved?
I don't know.
Do we know?
I do not know that.
I hope
Because
they
I think that
make
would be kind of
something
fun.
like Tiny Man. Can't do Ant-Man, so I'll do them all.
There you go. Got a schedule change coming here, Jacob. Affects the Jake Gyllenhaal film Nightcrawler. What's the story and what's causing the move?
Originally Nightcrawler was set to go up against Nicholas Sparks' adaptation, The Best of Me, the animated comedy The Book of Life, and Brad Pitt's World War II film Fury. It's now gotten pushed back 2 weeks.
Good move.
Mm-hmm.
So that hopefully will give it a little bit of breathing room. It's now going up against the Nicole Kidman thriller Before I Go to Sleep, and the Daniel Radcliffe horror film Horns.
Yeah, I saw a preview of Horns. It looks weird. Speaking of weird, Nicolas Cage, couple of movies pending. There's one entitled Outcast, and have we all had the chance to see the preview?
Oh, my
Is it a documentary about his life?
Yeah, seems like it. So we got two that say no.
No, it is the most awesome trailer you will
Really?
watch today.
Take off, Jeff. Go for it.
This thing. All right, it's got young Darth Vader. Hayden Christensen is also in it. Apparently, I think Nicolas Cage is some sort of Scottish New Jersey, by way of New Jersey.
He just had a really hard time coming up with that accent, didn't he?
He's trying to do some kind of accent. I'm not sure what it is.
I'm pretty sure he just described every role he's ever done, though.
Well, here's the thing. The first line he came out with, he used the word laddie,
Right.
which I thought, okay, Scottish. And then later on he comes out and this is more British. What the heck are you doing?
But I think
and it wasn't really truly British either.
They're like some sort of European warriors, and
It was.
It looks like they end up in the Far East.
Let's put it this way, Jacob. You probably seen it. Compare his attempt at an accent to Kiefer Sutherland in Pompeii.
Oh, Kiefer Sutherland in Pompeii is like 1,000 times better.
Sounds like Sir Lawrence Olivier. But yeah, it's like, I got it, laddie. I don't know what I'm doing here.
All right, you've seen the preview. Do you want to see the film?
I mean, just for hilarity's sake.
Yes. Yes, I do. I think it's going to be one of those that you.
When's it coming out?
I have no idea.
I didn't even see that. I couldn't see the date. I didn't see the date, but I think it's somewhere later on this year.
Yeah.
It's going to bomb. We all know this.
Oh, we know it, but again, we're going to go see it for comedic purposes.
He's a walking stroke PSA at this point.
He kind of is, isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
Speaking of trailers, Jeff, let's go back to you with this something called Automata.
Yeah, it looks really good. Looks more than a dash. It's 2 cups of Isaac Asimov.
Okay.
You know, a hint of District 9, but apparently it's Oh, let me get that. There we go.
The write-up, hey.
Yeah, Antonio Banderas stars. He also, I do believe, produced. We also have Melanie Griffith, Dylan McDermott. And like I said, it's sort of a
all-star cast.
Melanie Griffith looks kind of scary. I'm not sure
I've
she's
seen
playing
her,
human.
yeah. I saw her in Hawaii Five-0 last year. That was pretty scary.
But it's one of those sci-fi movies with, robots gaining sentience against their programs. And I think, Antonio Banderas is the one that
Terminator meets iRobot.
I don't know if they want to actually wipe out people or anything. I think it's more the people want to get rid of them before.
Oh, gotcha.
I think the robots are your sympathetic characters in this one. It just looks good. It looks pretty cool.
Okay. One more trailer, Ryan, to you. Upcoming Liam Neeson's got a film called A Walk Among the Tombstones. What's it about, and what'd you think?
Yes, sir. It's about a former cop turned PI, suffering hard times, takes on a new client. He says there's a group of really bad people that murdered his wife, wants to bring them to justice, so he hires Liam Neeson to do the deed. It's going to hit theaters everywhere on September the 19th.
I actually watched it. It seems a little dark, but I'm kind of intrigued.
Liam Neeson's my jam, man.
I won't go see it, man. One more note here, Jacob, and it's yours. The Harry Potter front. It's not really about the young wizard. It's more like the planned Fantastic Beasts film.
Yeah, it looks like they are in talks with David Yates to direct this one, who also directed several of the Harry Potter movies, including the last the Deathly Hallows movies.
Okay.
So should be some familiar face to kind of keep the
same
tone.
Okay.
There you go.
I was just trying to help, buddy.
Gotcha. If you are interested in trying to get a new movie to add to your collection, there's kind of some weak pickings next Tuesday. You only have the period piece Belle and the movie Blended, the failed romantic comedy starring Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. Like last week, most of your releases are actually on the TV side. Among the TV series that you might want to pick up, Season 9 of Criminal Minds, Season 2 of Elementary, Season 3 of Revenge, Season 6 of Sons of Anarchy, Season 4 of Walking Dead, and there's also a limited special edition set for that same season and show of Walking Dead. And this is a first in this section. David? We actually go to you to talk about this.
Yes.
We talked about Star Trek just a little bit ago. There's some news related to what you can bring home, and we talked about this when they brought out Star Trek Into Darkness, which if you went to one store, you got one thing, and another store, you got another thing. What are they trying to do to appease the crowd, and will it work?
It won't work, but they are releasing Star Trek The Compendium, which it sounds like that would be like every Star Trek ever in one big box set, but it's
really
not.
does.
It's just J.J. Abrams' crappy 2 films. But
so both the
Yes.
first Star Trek and Into Darkness are in this, okay?
Yes. And it's going to be like a 4-disc set that'll include all of the retailer exclusive content, the IMAX version of the film Star Trek Into Darkness, and the special edition Blu-ray disc for the 2009 film. But they also announced a $5 mail-in rebate program for those who purchased either Star Trek or Star Trek Into Darkness during their initial release.
So we'll give you $5 of your $15 to $25 that you spent back, and you're going to be ticked off at us.
Per disc to get all of the content.
Yeah.
I know people who did that.
I've heard of people that went out and they went to Best Buy and Walmart and Target, and there was one other one.
Yeah.
Amazon?
Something like that. You know what I said to him yesterday? I warned you.
Yeah.
I warned you, laddie.
I warned you.
Thank you, Nicolas Cage. TV news here. First up, we start off at ABC and the show Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. heading into the second season with a new time, an hour later than last year, and a new addition to the cast. Ryan, apparently they have cast the spy Bobby Morse, going to be portrayed on the show by what actress?
Yes, sir. If you remember the great NBC drama known as Friday Night Lights, Adrienne Palacki has been tapped to take on the role of Robbie Morse, a.k.a. Mockingbird. She's going to appear in the 5th episode, and she has the possibility of returning for even more episodes later down the line.
And, Jacob, they got plans for another character. This one's going to be played by a kid from the MTV show Teen Wolf?
Yeah, they've got Brian Patrick Wade coming on to play Carl Crusher Creel, otherwise known as the Absorbing Man. So we have some actual Marvel villains coming in.
Okay.
So, interesting.
Sounds like they're officially taking out the first Hulk that Fox did out of the canon. Because they always kind of acted like he was part of it a little bit. But
you almost have to. I think. ABC, as we continue with them, got the hit show Castle, Jacob. Real-life author Richard Castle has a series of novels out about a character by the name of Derek Storm. Apparently, ABC likes the idea of doing a series about the character?
Well, first of all, Richard Castle is not a real person. Richard
Okay,
Castle,
there's an author that's using the name. Let's put it that way.
Yes. Yeah, Richard Castle is the character played by Nathan Fillion, who writes the books about Derek Storm. ABC has gone and gotten ghostwriters to write books, to write out the books that they mention in the show under the name Richard Castle. They've also done graphic novels.
Now
they're
I don't
looking
watch
at
the
doing
show.
a TV show based on these books that the writers have written, inspired by the TV show.
This is a terrible idea.
Yeah,
sounds like a great idea. I know.
Convoluted and weird, but
It really does. I think you could maybe do like a show within a show and maybe come up with something like that just on a very limited basis.
It's
I'm not so
almost
certain
like
this is going to work.
doing a film on a book in Harry Potter about Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah, I agree. You know what they should do? They should just have a season of Castle where they're making a movie based on one of his novels.
That actually could work.
See, I should be a writer for Castle. What up? Drop the mic. I'm done.
Over to NBC, and apparently, Jacob, they're working up a TV adaptation of a somewhat old Al Pacino film, one in which he starred with Keanu Reeves. They are going to make a series out of Devil's Advocate?
Yeah, so really not a whole lot about that, but NBC has put a pilot commitment in for a TV version of Devil's Advocate.
Somebody needs
We've
to
seen them
check
have
the
success
sanity of
with,
NBC.
With Jeff, help me out with
Hannibal?
that show. Hannibal, thank you.
You're welcome.
So, maybe they can take this movie and turn it into a TV show and be successful. Who knows?
Can we see NBC's tears of desperation at this point?
Yeah, really, because this really is desperate.
Yeah,
if you're
I don't
going back
know,
to
man.
Devil's Advocate.
Because, the Hannibal, that show's based on, there's like 4 books that they can pull from.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is just one movie.
I thought pretty much they'd wrapped it up. I was, whatever. From the Devil to God, and Jacob Word has NBC working with Roma Downey, Mark Burnett, who made the miniseries The Bible for the History Network. They have a new project for NBC that they're interested in. What is this about?
Yeah, it's called Unveiled. It's a procedural revolving around a group of people who are tasked with intervening to help people in crisis.
Yeah.
Meh.
Okay. One more note on NBC, Jacob. They have a show entitled Working with the Ingalls. I didn't even know. It's apparently something of a surprise because I'd never heard of it, but you got some news regarding it. What's up?
Yeah, I mean, if you're one of the few people who knows that this show exists, you might be upset to know that it's been canceled.
I'm not upset because I didn't even know it was there. CBS, Jacob filling out the cast of the latest CSI spinoff. It's CSI Cyber, and we talked about a rapper getting an acting role earlier, and apparently it's a continuation of that.
Yeah, they've got Shad Moss, a.k.a. Bow Wow, formerly known as Little Bow Wow, for those who are interested in rap.
Oh, is he a full Bow Wow now?
He's a full Bow Wow.
Oh,
he's not only Bow, but Wow. Jeff, you mentioned that you're going to go checking out The Strain this weekend. It's on the network FX. Carlton Cuse, Guillermo del Toro produced, if you didn't know. Sean Astin, among others, star. You like it. Does the network?
Why, yes, they do, Steve.
How
At
much?
least for one more season.
At least for one more year. Okay, so it's enough of a success to give it a renew.
And it's nothing great, but it's a decent vampire.
I watched a couple episodes of it. It was all right. It wasn't enough to necessarily keep my attention, but if it's on and I happen to be watching, I'll stick around with it. Jacob, AMC's got a show called Halt and Catch Fire. Just wrapped up their first season not too long ago, if I'm correct. A season 2 in the works?
Yeah, it looks like AMC likes their period computer building drama, so it will be around for a second season.
Way to sell it, man.
Yeah, really. Disney, Jeff, the network letting us know about the plans for the debut of the animated Star Wars Rebels series. We've been talking about that. In fact, gave you details right here a couple of weeks ago. When can the fans get the chance to check this
Looks
out?
like it's going to make its official television debut with the 1-hour movie Spark of Rebellion on Friday, October the 3rd at 9 p.m. Eastern on the Disney Channel, before the series premieres Monday, October the 13th at 9 p.m. Eastern on Disney XD.
I'm sold.
Yeah, I'm going to check it out. We'll see where it goes. And one more note here before we run down the Summer Movie League standings. BBC America has teamed with the parent company BBC One, coming up with a new series about the paranormal. Jacob, what do you know about this?
Basically, they're going to do this show called The Living and the Dead. And basically, it's going to be set in Somerset, England in 1888. And basically, there's going to be a farmer who believes in ghosts, and he's going to be investigating them around this England town, and he's going to start to find out that it's more real than he believed, and it's going to start to have consequences on his life.
All right. Real quick on the rundown here, Jeff well in the lead, $838.9 million for his rundown. Jacob, you're in second, $716.6 million. Your Guardians of the Galaxy serving you well. Josh, you're up to third, $673.1. I'm relegated to fourth, $645.5. The battle for last between David and Ryan. David, $359.5. Ryan, $338.7. All of the films are out as of this week, so now it's just the race to the end to see what ends up coming up here. But
you know what? I'm a belt.
Looks like this guy right over here.
Everyone needs a belt to hold up the rear.
Well, you're the belt, huh? Ryan, where can we find you online if we want to get in touch with you?
On Facebook at Ryan Matthews and on Twitter at RyanRPM5.
Thank you very much. We can find you online as well, right, David?
My comedy sketches and web series are at maladjusted.tv.
Jacob, Jeff, Josh, enjoyed it. Had a great time.
Been
Hope
fun.
you guys have a fantastic weekend. Enjoyed the show and enjoy the rest of your weekend.